welcome to a Fit for Jack Gaming. And what we're going to have is a nice overview, whatever you want to be calling it, of DC The New Frontier. This is a deluxe copy. This is actually probably one of the older copies of that. So this is kind of going to be a blast in the past. Blast from the past. There we go. So we're going to end up reviewing this guy, breaking it over with it. So this is the cover, spine, and the good old backside. Just because there's been a little bit wondering about that, there's the Inchi, or one pages, the flaps. And here's the cover. It's a wraparound cover. And we'll swipe on over to our pack cam so you can end up seeing this killer.
Alright, the art is by Derek.
Let's see if we can get this.
And the colors is by Dave Stewart. This features 6 original issues. And it has art inspired from the 1950s of America. While it has other characters such as Superman, Wonder Woman, John Jones, aka Martian Manhunter, Hal Jordan, aka Green Lantern, Batman, Flash, John Henry, Aquaman, Adam Strange, among others. It does give an origin to the Green Lantern of Hal Jordan, and it lets us know what exactly happens when John Jones first comes down to Earth. And I have to say the biggest thing that I took away from it was the Green Lantern storyline that came out of the book and the art. This art is going to be nice and stellar, being a timepiece of the 1950s, like I said previous with that. And then you end up seeing some of the stuff that happens back there. And then you also see the classic Justice League moments that you'll be able to see as well in this story. Doubling back over with the Green Lantern. It was nice to see that story, read that story, and it's the story that ended up striking me the most because that's what I ended up seeing. And it had a nice connection with Hal and his attitude, how he ends up being carried over in the story. And then seeing the tribulations of John Jones when he first got here, learning the culture, being in prison with the culture, or imprisoned by the government and stuff like that ended up going on. The stuff that ended up going on with John Henry is a little event that you would have been able to see back in that time frame. And for me, the art was the big driving force behind this book, especially having it with the newsprint paper, the transfer of that. It was pretty amazing. It's a very good general introduction to the DC characters all across the board, especially if you're interested into the Justice League. And we can't forget there's moments of the soldiers that ends up happening that's also in this book as well.
Cover gallery. And boop. So we'll give you a nice little tease with that. So if you ended up wanting to actually see more of it, you have to actually pick up the book and be able to read it. Let's slide back over to our regular camera to be able to give you our final thoughts about the book itself. And welcome back. So what we ended up thinking about the book, I think it was a nice solid book. and it's kind of nice. I love the art, and I specifically love the copy that I ended up picking up. I know it's like on a newsprint paper, and most books nowadays wouldn't be having that, but it's part of the nostalgia factor of that, kind of make me feel like the single issues back when I was like a kid and everything with it. But this is like a deluxe copy, so it's a little bit bigger than your standard book. But it's not as big as the Absolute. They do have an Absolute of this, so you can go pick that up from the channel affiliate Organic Price Books. Use the code #5thJack to save $2 off. If you have 4 or more books, use the code JACKIT to be able to save 5% off your entire order. But with that said, the art in this is pretty stellar that comes over with it. And it does give you a nice little basis and does touch off with a bunch of history throughout the entire DC universe. And it explains a bunch of stuff that you end up wanting to end up. And it gives some background to some of the favorite DC characters, such as Superman, Green Lantern. Well, I guess it's not origins for Superman. But like the Green Lantern one, that kind of stuck out because I kind of flowed with it. And we got to see a bunch of different stuff come together. Overall, I would give this book a 7 out of 10 because I'm not a huge DC nut that would go along with it, but it definitely did help out with the process. However, for me, the art was the thing that kept me going into it. I did enjoy that part of it, and I'm going to be dead honest with you. At some point, it deserves a reread when I get a little bit more focused onto the book, and maybe it'll get a little bit better from there. Have you read this book? What do you think of it? Put it down in the comments down below. Also, if you're liking the content we're putting out, like, subscribe, and hit that little bell to be notified whenever we come out with new content. Thank you for watching, and until next time, we'll see you later.